Right, here we have a bultaco 2-stroke single cylinder motorcycle barrel, which the customer's brought in because this piston is not very well. The piston ring is totally stuck. Looks like there's been some scoring going on. Not much wear though. Not visually anyway, I've not measured it. But anyway, the customer wants this piston fitted, which is slightly larger. I determined with dial bore gauge, micrometer set to 83mm. I'm not sure if you can see that. 83mm. And by going in here, we've determined that the bore's 3.25 millimeters in diameter, and it's consistent all the way through. It's round, it's not ovaled, and it's very straight. It looks like somebody's been in here with some emery paper or something, probably just to clean the bore up, because it doesn't seem to have affected it. The new piston is stamped 83.45. The box is marked backwards. I'll have to look at my camera settings. But the box is marked at 83.45 also, and it says on the box 0.05 to 0.06 millimeters clearance. Piston to bore clearance. So taking our measurements, we can see, I've written it down here which you can't see. Let me just pick the phone up. And that's got to be backwards as well, isn't it? Anyway, our 83, it works out that we need to take out 0.25 millimeters out of this bore, and which is 9.843 thou, which is borderline for boring or just going straight for honing it out and skipping the boring altogether. So I've got a decision to make. Which way do I do it? Anyway, I'll come back in a bit. So we've set the bultaco barrel onto the milling machine. We've decided to mill it out slightly. At the moment I've got a coaxial dial indicator, and I've zeroed it in. Now I'll take the indicator out and put in a boring head. So we're boring this at 560 RPM with a feed rate of 1.5 thou per revolution. With a CNMG carbide insert on the tool holder. And you'll hear it skipping as it goes past the various ports along the way. I've taken a cut of approximately 2/1000th of an inch, which will increase the diameter by 4/1000th of an inch, leaving me 5 point something thou left to hone out. I'm bouncing between metric and imperial because this milling machine and the boring head that I'm using are imperial, so it's just easier to, for me anyway, to convert to that. But they're just numbers at the end of the day. Anyway, I'll let this bore through and I'll come back to you. Just while this is finishing, a thought crossed my mind. I'll just take this camera off of this mount. Over in the corner, over there, I have a Rottler 2B boring machine. It's actually got twin heads on it. And the reason I'm not using that is because, quite frankly, I prefer to use the milling machine. The Rottler is it's fast, but it's coarse. I certainly wouldn't attempt to take 2/1000th out of a bore with a Rottler. Not as a first cut. Just see the cutters about to come through now. And the milling machine's got a finer feed rate, so we can get a finer finish, which means we can leave less for honing. Anyway, this is just about to finish, and I'll come back and when we come to check the size. So we've just taken our first pass, and that finish is absolutely smooth. See if I can get in there. That's what we've cut out, that little pile there. Not sure if that shows very well. So yeah, so we'll just measure that up now and see what we've got. So here I'm using a Delapina Speedway, and here I'm using a Delapina power hoe, and I'm nearly on size, so I'm using 20 fine stone. I haven't started with a coarse stone, but the stones expand. In the bore with this top wheel, and we can, with this one, we can tighten it as we're using it. So that's now quite, those stones are quite tight. Maybe a little too tight, so we can soften it slightly. A little bit of lubrication. used to use a hand hone on a powerful battery drill. While it works, you can't really get enough force into the stones because it's too much to hold the hand drill. And it tries to twist out your hands. So this was a big improvement on this machine. And by applying more pressure, it's a much faster job. The cylinder gets warm, so you have to watch that that doesn't fool us into thinking we're on size, when actually we're still a little bit too small. And it's a dirty job. Any sort of grinding is. So just pop that out of there. Rest it there. Take my dial gauge and check where I am at the moment. And we're about 1 thou to go at that point. Further down. And we're about on size further down, so we want to stay near the top. This barrel has got so many ports in it, it actually makes it quite difficult to put the bore gauge in at different heights. But we're almost there. So come out of that. Drop it in. Turn it a little bit. And you can just feel it's dripping. Little bit of, I'm using kerosene, should really use a honing oil, but I don't have this properly set up as yet. Although saying that, it's actually working quite well for me. So you can just hear that I'm tightening that one. I'm just going to do a little bit at the top. I think we're pretty much on size. We need to let that all cool down now. And then measure it again. As you can see, that really didn't take very long. I had bored it almost to size. Cross hatching that next. That's feeling quite nice. So we're going to let that cool down and then come back and measure it again. While we're waiting for that to cool down, I thought I would show you the speed hone. Sorry, the power hone. Some people call them the nodding donkeys. I'll show you why in a second. But basically we have a motor here, geared down with a couple of belts running in parallel. Then we have a variator, which is like it's a hydraulic unit from what I understand, and you can vary the speed of the honing head with this by undoing this knob and moving it backwards or forwards, whichever way you want to go I tend to just leave it alone. So we have a pivot here where it nods and it swivels on its base, which allows us to swing it around when using. So we can up and down, as so, and swing round. Our adjustments that I was talking about on the previous clip is here. We can, as it's running, if we hold this one, we just hold it lightly, it'll expand the stones, which tighten them in the bore. And if we hold this one, it'll loosen the stones. It's quite a nice feature to have, because it means you don't have to come down here and keep adjusting the stones. You can just do it on the fly here. We have a couple of swivel joints, one at the top, one at the bottom, so everything aligns itself as it goes up and down. It's quite a simple machine, but it's a lot better than hand honing, which I've done for many years. My base is cast iron. Keep the video the same way up for you. Let me move to a different position. I'll probably cut this and edit it. The base that I'm clamping blocks to is probably off an old radial drill, a riser block. It's damned heavy, I know that much, and I got it on a steel stand. Ideally it would have a tray underneath it, and we would have oil circulating from the oil tank at the bottom into the workpiece as we're honing it. To keep the stones clean, flush all the debris out, all the grit, and secondly it would help to keep it cool while we're working. These are the stones. You have 2 stones and 2 guides. Sorry, I'm not doing that very well, am I? They come in packs like this. See, this one's brand new. I bought a couple of new ones, and then got a toolbox full of thousands of them on eBay. When I say thousands, I mean thousands and thousands of them. Not just those, but for smaller hone heads, speed hone stones, I got all sorts. In fact, there's boxes of them just there, and most of them are brand new in boxes, so it can pretty much cater for whatever comes this way honing wise, but generally this is how I do it. Let's see in there. Anyway, I shall measure this and go back to the other shed with it probably. So now we've honed the block, we've let it cool down, we put a crosshatch on it, and we're just going to check the measurements and see where we are. And we want between that 50 and that 51, that just there, and we're getting I'm going up and down the bore here a little bit. We're right between the 2 marks. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. Piston's a nice fit. No binding. Ideal. So there we are. All done. I'm ready to go back. This is a new thing for me to do videos on these, on what I do here. If you like this video, please can you make a comment and possibly like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see what we can do about making some more videos. Thank you for watching.